Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check it out. Radioddity was kind enough to send another cool radio my way. This is the CB900 Pro. This is a Cobra 29 killer from all descriptions I've been able to find online. Before I start on today's video though, I do want to remind you all that I do offer memberships here. You can go through Patreon, or you can actually sign up directly through YouTube and support the channel with $1 or $2 or $3 a month. Really helps me out, helps me to be able to afford to continue to make the videos that I make and pay for this studio, stuff like that. And it also helps me to know that you're interested in the kind of content that I put out. Second, I have a fifth actually channel that I put out. I hope you'll join me over on Farpoint Mowers and More. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. A lot of the garden tractor, riding mower, and repair videos that I've been doing here on this channel, I've decided to move that over to its own separate place now that I have my own separate space to film those in. So I hope you'll join me there as well. Now let's check out today's radio, the Radioddity CB900 Pro. It looks like a classic. It looks like that chrome radio of old. And we'll take a look here, and we have a nice little color manual. I appreciate the fact that Raddy and Radioddity both are putting out color manuals, or at least color covered manuals. It just adds a little bit of class to it. This one is 11 pages long. Coverage is 26.965 to 27.405. Does come with weather channels as well. 4 watts AM and FM. This is not a sideband radio. I know a lot of you are interested in sideband radios. This ain't the one. This is like a great trucker radio from the good old days. All right, we'll take that out here. We'll set that aside for a second. Let's open up the accessory box here. And we have a nice double-sized connector holder for that. And our packet that has the screw insides and a mic holder as well. And speaking of microphones, here is our mic, and I would say that's a good, that's probably 6 foot. It is a 4-pin, and this is kind of interesting here. I don't know how they did that, but they're pretty good at this sort of stuff. 4-pin mics, but the Radioddity microphone here has up, down, and PF, so I would say function built into it. So the ability to do stuff without having to take your eyes off the road and make manual adjustments, that's pretty cool. And then of course it does come with a power cord here, and it's a 3-pin standard power plug. Okay, let's get the main radio out of the box. And I will say, usually I'll go on and make some contacts with these radios after I'm done showing you all the features and functions. I really can't do that this week. It has been terrible. We're going on week 3 now of radio blackouts due to solar activity. Normally, the solar cycle going up and coming back down is an awesome thing that we get to be able to talk to the world. I've talked to Europe repeatedly on 4 watts over the course of this summer, but these last 3 weeks have just been terrible for it. So I'll go through all the features and functions, but we'll leave out the part where I do a band scan, that kind of stuff. Size-wise, it is shorter than a Cobra 29. I would say it is more along the lines of a something from Midland or Radio Shack, perhaps. It's definitely a shorter chassis. It also, I kind of wonder size-wise, and I don't have something to compare it to right now, but that almost looks like it would fit in a DIN slot to me. Lengthwise, certainly, yes, that's no deeper than a car stereo, and it just seems to be about that size. So I don't know, I'll have to see if that is something that can be done, because this does kind of have a look to it that would be nice. It would fit right in to a double DIN setup, car stereo on top, this on the bottom, or vice versa. But here it is brushed aluminum, I'm sorry, like a painted aluminum, anodized, whatever you want to, no, what is that? What's the word I'm looking for? Powder coated, there it is, good Lord. Powder coated aluminum. Does have some venting on the top and on the bottom here, so it does get a little airflow. No heat sink on this. It is just a 4-watt radio, so no need for that. On the back, it does have a PL259 connector, a regular 3-prong plug, regular 12-volt plug there. And then it does have PA out and speaker out as well. The front of this is so clean. Gosh, that's pretty. It just gives you that look that, yeah, I just like it. So it is not a chrome, it's like a brushed chrome, so it's non-reflective. I like that actually. And then we have a row of buttons up on top. This is cool. So where our meter normally would be, it looks to me like it has a digital monitor meter, or probably does other functions as well. And then we do have a conventional LED display for our channel select. Row of knobs down here in the bottom, with the only one having two functions being this one, which is on-off volume and squelch, and this one, which is channel select, and if you push down on it, also hits the menu. So I like it. I think looks-wise, it's a winner. It reminds me of a classic radio. In fact, you probably can't see it. Well, maybe you can. Now it's up out of reach now. But I'll tell you what, this is a vintage radio right here. Let me go ahead and unscrew the mic so I get a better side-by-side with y'all. Okay. So here is, that's what size it is. It's TRC-444 size. Here's an old Radio Shack TRC-444. And if you look at these two, the similarities are just incredible. Layout-wise, design-wise, size-wise, they are almost identical in their design. Now, they are not identical on the inside. This is very old tech. This is probably a Maxton chassis, I think it's a Maxton, maybe a Midland, but I think Maxton made this series. But this was their classic series. And so I was thinking, like, this is so familiar to me as far as the size. It's because I ran this right here for so many years that that's why it's familiar to me. All right, well, without further ado, we're going to take this, we're going to bring it over to the bench, we're going to plug it in, and I'll go through the features and functions with you and let you know what you're getting into. This would be great for truck drivers. This would be great for non-power users. You know what I mean? Like, for the average person who wants to be able to stay in communication while on a highway trip, this is the kind of radio that I recommend. New or used, this is what I say. It's AM and it's 40 channels. This one has some extra features, being FM mode being the biggest one, but it also does some other cool stuff we'll get into. Let's do it. All right, well, here we are on the bench. You can see it up close, and it's a beautiful rig. I like it. I like the black on chrome kind of look to it as well. It's different, and I dig it. Over here, turn that on first. Volume control right there, and on-off switch. This is beautiful. This is actually a digital display. It only appears to be an analog meter, but they've got that analog meter function down beautifully. And you can see we do have a frequency counter in there as well. On this side, we do have our regular old-fashioned, numbers, right? 1 through 40. So that's cool. Squelch, we have squelch control here. So let me go ahead. And you can see that, I'll turn that back down. You can see even with automatic noise limiter, noise blanker, and noise reduction all on, we're almost maxed out. That's how bad of a wipeout we're having here as far as the solar activity. It's just been really terrible. All right, mic gain, adjustable mic gain. That's the next button we have right there. And I usually set it right about there on one of these things until I get a better read. You know, I make some contacts with this thing when the conditions finally calm down a bit. And we'll figure out where it sounds great without overloading it. Of course, if you want to use an aftermarket mic on this thing, that also is going to be something you're going to want to adjust afterwards. And they give you the ability to do that, so that's really cool. RF gain, we're going to crank that up. And we're going to leave that there because, I want to get all the little signals, you know what I mean? And then talkback function. I'm not a huge fan of talkback, but for those who want it, it's built in and it's kind of nice. Up here on the top, like I was saying, we have off, we have automatic noise limiter, and we have noise blanker / automatic noise limiter. I usually leave that all the way up. And then we have off, noise reduction, and then set. And so it allows you to change that. And we'll turn it. I'd probably leave it on 3 just to see what we got there. And of course, so if you live in a state where Vox, you're not allowed to have hands, you're not allowed to use a regular old-fashioned microphone, then you do have the ability to add Vox with this thing, which is, voice on operation, which is kind of cool. All right, that is currently on off. You can put it on Vox, and it'll actually use this microphone. Well, I had it screwed up before there, but there you go. Vox level you can change around as well, and we'll turn that back off. Then we do have CB, we do have PA, and we do have weather. And while I can't really get you any sound coming out of the CB bands these days.
Weather roundup.
We can go to weather.
Tri-Cities Regional Airport, equals sunny. Temperature 80 degrees. Relative humidity 58%. Wind calm.
And I tell you what, it's a nice day here on the farm. Okay, so we'll go back to CB. We also have AM and FM. AM being where most of the action is at, but on trips, if you were in a convoy situation with another car, FM is awesome to kind of get away from all the rest of the mess, if you know what I mean there. And then lastly, we do have normal or channel 9. A little old school on the only channel 9, although I wonder if it's programmable. We'll get into the menu here and figure that out shortly. In fact, let's do that right now. Press and hold this. Key beep. Do I want it on or off? And I don't want it on. So we'll turn that off. Roger beep. Yeah, I do want that on. I like 6. We'll leave that on. Dimmer. Do we want bright or dim? I'm going to leave it on bright. Display type. Do we want classic, S meter, bar graph? We can screw around with that. We'll put it on bar graph. And SWR mode. Do we want that displayed as well, or do we want RF? We'll leave SWR on. RF. Yeah. We'll leave it on SWR. All right. Type of microphone. And scan type, we can switch between squelch and time. This would be a good day to do time because there's so few voices being heard out there, and the noise floor is so high. Turning echo on and off, turning the echo volume up and down, and turning the echo delay up and down. Weather alerts, heck no, I don't want to be scared to death on that one. Timeout timer and time off talk really is 3 minutes on this. That sounds reasonable. SWR warning is 3 to 1. I'm going to go a little lower than that. We'll go to 2 to 1. That's kind of, I don't want to burn out the finals on this thing. PA RX path, we're going to leave that where it is. Automatic squelch control is on. WX squelch control is also on. And then we have our reset. And we're back to the start. So you can see what the menu is here. It's simple enough to go through. Here's what I like about this radio the most, just having played with it just for a few hours now. And there's your different meter here. Hello. You can see I've got a nice flat signal on my SWR here on channel 6. And so what I like about this is it acts as a very basic 40-channel CB radio, the kind that I grew up with, and you probably did too. But it has those features that we used to spend a lot of money. Man, imagine, think back, how much money did you spend to have a add talkback? Or how much did you spend on a mic or on mods just to get echo? And while I don't use those anymore, those were all huge expenses if you wanted to deck out your rig. And then think about how much you used to spend to get, to Roger beep, which was my favorite thing. I always had to have a Roger beep on my radios. And so I spent, a good amount of money on that. Well, it's all included in this. It's smaller than a 29. I'd say it's a 25 chassis, but as we were joking around over on the table there, it's a TRC-444 size chassis. And I like it. All right, I don't think we're going to get anybody here, but let's go to our local channel. Actually, I want to get out of that. I don't like that meter. Let me get back in the menu. I want to change that menu. We'll leave it on SWR, but I want to get rid of that bar graph. We'll go back to classic. Yeah, you guys want to see what S meter is, we'll put it on that for a second. And then we'll crank the volume up here and we'll give it a shot trying. Like I said, most of my friends and the guys that I've been hanging out with, we've just kind of been on the side. I mean, I turn it on, but oh, that's pretty. That is actually really pretty. Hope y'all can see that clearly. Brake channel for a radio check. Yeah, well, there you go. Not a thing going on today. Now there's a scan feature as well. Let me if you hold the up or down button and roll through the bands, it'll go on to scan. You can see the little button start there. Now I don't have my hands on anything, but it's going to scan using automatic squelch. So if I wanted to have this in a truck or in my car while cruising down the highway, I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I'd just let it roll until I hear a conversation. This is actually usually how I keep my vehicles now when I'm driving. I keep them on squelch and I keep them rolling. And the second I hear something, I chime in. That, honestly, though, that's a bad idea. Here's why. Because if everyone's doing that, ain't nobody talking. And if nobody's talking, nobody ever breaks in to join in on that conversation. So every once in a while I have it on this, I do call out. I usually call out on 19, 14, 16, and 28. If I'm on AM, of course, if I'm on lower sideband, I'm on 36, 38, and 39. But that's how I roll. That's how I do it. Anyway, it is the Radioddity Pro 900 or 900 Pro. And man, they nailed it again. They've really come out with some great radios this year. I was talking to my wife about this morning because I said, hey, I'm going to go up there and do some filming. And I said, it just seems like in the last 5 years, Radioddity and Raddy have really blown the roof off as far as the offerings they have. They went from very limited stuff as far as what they offered at the time to a whole variety. We got the QT40, the QT60, QT80, the Pro 900, and a whole bunch of other ones that I've had come and go, not to mention their shortwave offerings, their GMRS, and their ham stuff. So they really have upped their game, and I'm happy to work with them here in 24, so I appreciate them. I'll leave a link to where you can get one of these, and don't forget, check out my second channel, my fifth channel. And if you want to help out all these channels, maybe think about becoming a member. $1 a month really would help me. I appreciate it. Take care.